Well, the U.S. has no chance of winning the war if America does not drastically change how it's battling China in cyberspace and artificial intelligence. That from the Pentagon's former software.
This is also kind of an update. We did a video before about this Chaillan guy, with all due respect, quitting for the Pentagon. This is an updated story of that, real fast.
Chief Nicolas Chaillan, who resigned in protest over our military's lack of action against Beijing. He joins us in moments. But first, to correspondent Lucas Tomlinson, live for us at the Pentagon. Lucas, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Trace. The Air Force's first chief software officer says U.S. government technology is operating at a kindergarten level. The Pentagon says it's taking the threat from China very seriously.
This is something that the Secretary has spoken to, that the entire leadership here at the department is focused on. We know there's a lot of work to do, but we're committed to doing that work.
Nicolas Chaillan is not a political appointee. After a civilian career in the tech world, he joined DHS and later the Pentagon in May 2018 to become the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, and its first software officer, the first military service to have one. He quit 3 years later. He says Pentagon leaders say all the right things, but there's not enough being done, not enough action. He also believes he's being misquoted, writing on Twitter today, quote, "For all media outlets putting words in my mouth, we didn't lose the AI war yet. We need to wake up now before we do." In a statement, the Air Force says Mr. Chaillan resigned. He met with the Air Force Secretary for an exit interview, telling Fox News, quote, "The Department of the Air Force continues to develop cyber and artificial intelligence capabilities as part of its focus on strategic competition with China in mind as the pacing challenge." Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke about the matter this summer.
China's leaders have made clear that they intend to be globally dominant in AI by the year 2030. And Beijing already talks about using AI for a range of missions from surveillance to cyber attacks to autonomous weapons.
But critics say the Pentagon isn't doing enough to counter China on land, at sea, and in space. Trace?
Lucas Tomlinson, live for us at the Pentagon. Lucas, thank you. Let's bring in Nicolas Chaillan, former Air Force and Space Force Chief Software Officer who resigned last month over what he sees as a lost battle between the U.S. and China in cyberspace and artificial intelligence. Mr. Chaillan, thank you for joining us. A couple of points that Lucas made, which are very important to this, is one, you're not a political appointee, and two, you're not saying we've lost the war, though we're on the verge of losing. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Yeah, effectively what I'm saying is that if we don't wake up right now and we don't take action and we keep waiting and using all these reports as excuses not to take action, saying that China is going to catch up with us in 10 years from now, which is absolutely false, we have no chance of catching up.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because you just heard the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin talking about China's run, and he used a phrase, he said, China's pacing challenge, which is to say that China is keeping pace with us. You don't think China is keeping pace. You think we're here and China is up here when it comes to artificial intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're leading and I think they're moving faster. You know, the critical piece to understand with AI is the more data you get and the faster you can deploy that data and use those artificial intelligence capabilities, the faster they improve. And so what you end up seeing is a drastic increase of pace. And that compounds over time. So the more you're going to wait, the harder it's going to be to catch up. In the meantime, what you see as well is a lack of urgency in the Department of Defense, where leaders are, like I said, talking the talk but not walking the talk. And we are not leveraging agile and all the common sense best practices of the commercial side. And again, the commercial side is leading on the U.S. side in AI, but we have mostly no access to these companies because many of them are not working with.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of contracts coming up.
That China is pausing because
damn right. He's going to open the way for all the legislation to make it easier to do business with the outside.
China, why would you resign? Why not stand and fight to keep us in this thing?
So we had great successes over the last 3 years, but I also demonstrated that we can't get this done and we can't put AI on a 60-year-old jet that the U-2 is with artificial intelligence, getting over-the-air updates, and
actually he's not.
We can't do this on weapon systems.
Here's my thought. I'm thinking this guy's a propagandist, and here's why. And I didn't think this at first. First I thought he was a godsend. Now I think he's a government send. I think his goal is to come here and tell us we're not prepared for the wars that China's bringing us. And now we're going to have a whole lot of money spent on all this stuff. And they're going to change a whole lot of legislation. We're going to do business with other companies and all these other people. And I could be wrong. He could be being the greatest guy on earth and helping us. I don't know.
Time, I was seeing no action. I kept pushing from within the Pentagon for 3 years the urgency that we have, and I keep seeing a lack of action. So I thought, at this point, there is a better use of my time to get back to work from the outside and push these improvements so we can effectively win this fight.
Mr. Chaillan, I gotta go, but just give me, if you can, the bottom line. What's the biggest threat we face by losing this battle?
It's an existential threat. If we do not win this, there is no potential future for our kids. You look at the pace of AI, you look at what's going on in automation right now, and fighter jets with AI that continuously beat the U.S. pilots when flying jets. We have no fighting jets at winning the next battles if we don't have dominance in AI.
The fight is crucial. Nicolas Chaillan, thank you for coming on, sir. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we sure do.